Alrighty guys, as I keep bringing us another Dragon Ball Legends ToP guide video. This is going to be for ToP Season 80. So last season we did end up at rank 4,445, securing that juicy 1000cc as per usual. And we did it with more, we did it with more of a safer path. We went safer with our units and stuff like that. And so I'm pretty happy about that, quite honestly. So we're going to basically be replicating the same thing for this season as well. And remember, before we continue, there will always be timestamps in the description down below. That way you guys can go ahead and get to where you need to go. The first thing I'm going to tell you is to start getting your friendship rank up for whatever units you're going to be using. If you know that you're going to be using a unit consistently throughout your ToP seasons, get that unit up to friendship rank 10. The reason why is because you're going to see right here, if I look at the regular stats compared to the ToP stats right here on the right hand side, you're going to see a boost to everything across the board, right? Health, strike attack, blast attack. One of the most important ones being that key restore speed, just because of the fact that key restore speed does dictate your attack order, whether your unit's attacking first, attacking last. You got to think of it, it's like they're getting initiative, right? Their initiative on attack. Now, the easiest way to actually build up that friendship rank is going into the upgrade tile or tab in the events page, go into the Let's Fight event specifically, and get 3 of these a day. It might take a while, but it's only 3 of these. It's a pretty easy stage. You get to build up your friendship rank with one specific unit. Definitely make sure you're doing these. And say you burn through all 3 of your Let's Fight events and you want to continue farming friendship rank, you can do so by going into story mode part 6. It's going to be book 1, chapter 8. This is the designated stage to consistently run over and over again to build up your friendship rank. You can do this with 3 characters rather than just the 1, but do keep in mind this gives you friendship rank at a much slower rate than the Let's Fight event. And if you want to make the grind way more easier on yourself, I definitely recommend making an entire team dedicated to building your friendship rank, right? And basically what I mean is get 6 units on a squad and then get every single unit 3 of these equips right here, because this equip is so good for friendship farming. This gives you 3% on each slot for a total of 9%. You get 3 of those. You can stack these, right? So on one unit you can put 3 of these on right here. So that's already 27% friendship rank that you're getting off of just one unit, and they all stack with each other. They're all going to go ahead and generate that friendship rank points for you. That's why you can see every single one of my characters has that equip. The way to get this is you simply get it from the exchange shop, specifically the equipment metal shop. And speaking of equipment, you're going to want to go into the exchange shop, permanent, the rare metal. There's a ToP shop. This is where you're going to get all your equips for your ToP units right here. The ones that I always recommend is the gold ones. Obviously, the golds are going to be better than the silvers right here. So you're going to want to get one of these, which is going to be basically for your melee type, your defense type, your support type, and your defense type. And so you put one of these on, it has no equip conditions other than the typing. And then you want one of these explosive clash. This one is a little bit, it sucks just because you have to have your unit at 7 stars or above to actually be able to equip this. And then lastly, I always recommend this one right here. It's not a gold equip, but it's base health, and so it's going to make your units a little bit more tankier. I definitely do recommend that. And if you don't have your unit at 7 stars, you're going to have to go ahead and pick from one of these equips down here. They're definitely not like terrible or anything like that, but it's just not as good as the explosive clash, right? You're just going to go ahead and have to match it up with either the color or with the typing. And the last thing that you can do to increase the durability of your units within ToP is arts boosting them. Obviously, this is a last case scenario in terms of, obviously this is a last resort right here, because these resources are definitely more scarce within the game, and you probably want to put these on your PvP units rather than your PvE units, right? And the one I do recommend the most, though, if you do any of them, is the special boost, because this specifically enhances your defenses. All right, so now let's go into our pathing right here. Once again, I've tried to craft the most easiest pathing for the season so far, so this is what you're going to see right here. Remember that this game mode does reward you based on a win streak bonus, right? So every 5th win, you're going to get a substantial bonus, especially towards the 25th fight. So basically on your 5th, 10th, 15th, 20th, and 25th, those are going to be the most important fights. Those are the fights that are circled in red. So as long as you're hitting those fights, you're going to be okay. If you deviate from the blue pathing, that's more than okay with me. Do keep in mind though, on my blue pathing, I am specifically targeting easier fights for us as the season goes, but this is just a general outline. Sometimes I don't follow this strictly. All right, so now we're going to talk about our pathing tips and general guidance for this. So the first fight you're going to come across is this stage right here, which is against androids. Basically what you're going to want to do is kill the green 21 first, because she does have a stun available to her after turn 1. So as long as you're killing her in turn 1, you're going to be good. And then I do suggest saving the yellow 16 for last, because that yellow 16 will give a death buff for android allies. Next, we have this ToP stage right here. You're going to want to target the green TN first. That green TN specifically because on turn 2, he will super attack you, and alongside the super attack, he will stun you. Don't want to let him get that off. Next, we have this Majin Buu fight. This one's probably going to be one of the most difficult fights that we come across this season, just because it's a 5-fist stage or a 5-fist difficulty, and then plus there's a lot of stuff going on right here, right? So there's hills. One of the units I'm going to recommend going for first though is this purple Buu, because at the start of turn 3 he is going to go ahead and stun you. I am always going to be adamant about avoiding the stuns, right? And then since he is doing it on turn 3, you have a little wiggle room to go ahead and kill another unit before him maybe. I would probably recommend going for this green Kid Buu, because that green Kid Buu, the debuffs that he puts out are pretty nuts. Next, we have this Dragon Fist stage. I'm going to go ahead and advise going for Tapion first, the red one, just because of the fact that the red one, he will green card you at the start of turn 2, basically taking away one of your units' super gauge. So if one of your units going to super on turn 2, maybe he has 100% of that gauge, Tapion happens to randomly target him with his green card, he sucks it away, he takes it off. Next, we have this God Key stage right here. The first unit you're going to want to get is the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. He super attacks on turn 2. He has a high key restore speed. That's enough said for him. And if you can, in turn 1, optimally, what you want to do is kill the Goku and then the Beerus, right? Because the Beerus is going to be stunning you at the start of turn 2 as well. So next we have another Majin Buu Saga fight. The first unit I'm going to recommend taking out is the Blue Dabura. The Blue Dabura will stun you at the end of turn 1. So you have to kill him in turn 1, and then probably go for the Pui Pui after that guy, just because of the fact that once he goes below 70%, I believe he activates his green card, and then his green card allows him to get 100% to his special move gauge, and I think that's like at the end of turn 2, so you want to go ahead and get him before you can even activate all that nonsense. And as for the boss fight, for the first one at least, we're going to be going against this Buu Saga fight. I don't really have general guidance for this. Just keep in mind that this yellow Super Saiyan 3 has a buff against regeneration, and then the tag unit is probably going to be your first priority, just because of the fact that they have the Transcendent Kamehameha on turn 4, right? So you do want to get those guys out of the way. But if we look at the other units or the other teams for this fight, like I don't want to do this because of the tag unit. Jiren stuns you off rip turn 1. This fight, there's a guaranteed super attack with Rose. This, I don't even have to say anything about that. That's all tag units right there. We're not doing that ever. And then this fight is also, there's a lot of support, double UI, there's blast cover changes here too. It's really rough all around. All right, so next is this Frieza Force fight. We've encountered this fight a lot. We already know how annoying it is. There's double stuns here. Can't avoid them. Just simply cannot. But there is a special move here coming out from the Frieza, right? That potentially, once he receives a blast arts, he eats it and turns it into a special move, basically, right? The way to get around this is by either swapping all of your units over to strike base, so they never actually proc that ability from him, or you can pray to RNG, target him for the 6 slots, and just pray that you kill him before he even launches it off, because he does have a really low key restore speed. And the way to swap your units over from blast to strike is you simply click on the desired unit. To the left of their HP is a little icon. You click on that, and from there you can click either blast or strike for their attack strategy, and then you hit confirm and you're good to go. Next we have this free-to-play stage. Nothing too special about this one, but we do see the Super Buu again. Kill that guy before turn 3. Next we have this all cell stage. We've been over this one a lot too. What I basically like to do is I like saving the purple cell right here is just for last, right? The purple suicide cell, I always target him last, just because of the debuffs that he puts on you. The debuffs he puts on you upon getting hit, at least. This stage, you have nothing to worry about here. You can take out 16 whenever you want, because his death buffs only apply to android allies. There's no other androids here. Next, we have this Sagas from the movie stage. So this one is more, I'm not really worried about this damage-wise. I'm worried about this in terms of tankiness, right? This team has a lot of defenses, right? And so we'll briefly go over what these guys can do. So this Ultra Broly will stun you at the start of turn 2. Usually he's the first unit I will go for. It's kind of hard to do that in this team setup right here because this Gohan absorbs all attacks for that first turn. So unless someone that can like get rid of that buff effect, like for example, Bootanks gets rid of that buff effect with his special move. Buhan also gets rid of that upon a Blast Arts hit, right? So those units can cancel that effect and you can start beating down this Broly right here. Or the alternative is to just simply kill both of them in turn 1, which is a little bit unrealistic because of the 5-star difficulty. You might have to just eat the stun here. But again, like I said, I'm not too worried about the damage output here from this team. I'm more so worried about how well they're going to eat all the attacks defensively. The last team we're going to go up against is the Buu Saga team. If you compare and contrast with the other squads, I'm not doing that, never. A guaranteed super attack there is a little bit annoying. You have basically universe reps with support, blast cover changes, all that good stuff, and then this one you have the guaranteed stun right here, plus a lot of other stuff going on. So, yep, I think the Buu Saga is still the best team to go ahead and run into. Alright, so the first team we are going to be talking about is GT. I feel like this is the strongest team this season. Even if you look at the leaderboard, you're gonna see so many GT units or just GT squads on there from like 1 to 1000, man. It's actually insane how much of a diff there is. But we're gonna talk about a safe GT team to use. Right here on the right hand side, you do see the current rank 1 player as of recording, but the biggest difference with his team and the team I'm showing you right here is the fact that his team is almost entirely comprised of Z tier units. You can see right here all his units except for that green baby Vegeta are pretty much in Z tier right there, right? So what I like to do is I like to start picking my units from C tier at minimum. I'm taking 2 C tier units, low key, right? So I'm taking in Super Baby 2. This is the best healer for GT, and I'm probably taking in Bulla. I think Bulla is amazing right here. Not only is she just amazing for support, but she's also your secondary healer because at the end of turn, allies in range, you restore health by 2%. That activates 2 times, and you have a full board radius for that heal. So everyone is getting that, right? That's where she outshines the Super Baby 2 because she has the full board of which she's healing right there, right? And then we go into B tier right here. You do have the pickup of the Parasite Trunks. I think this guy's phenomenal, right? Especially if you're going up against a lot of Saiyan squads, that's even better for you. He's able to super attack very, very quickly. He has debuffs and stuff like that. He's a phenomenal unit. And then you keep going into A tier. Not much units to offer in A tier, not gonna lie, but the Majube is really good. I think so, at least, the yellow one. And then even in S tier, like, I think this guy's a really good pickup because he's super attacking every other turn. He gets 50% at the start of the first turn. I think this guy's good too for support. Even if you don't want that as your yellow, you have the Nova Shinron in here who has damage mitigation, which is also very, very valuable. GT is just on top right now, in my personal opinion. Like I said, this guy over here on the right hand side, it's uncertain if he's making it all the way to the end without dying. So if you want to go ahead and ensure your survival, definitely dabble into your C tier units. Alright, so the next thing we're going to be talking about that I think is an extremely safe team is Sagas from the movies. So on the right hand side, we do have the rank 18 player. We can briefly go over what strong suits are for him. So the purple Bojack, guaranteed super attack. Red Turles has a lot of self-healing, a lot of support. Very good right there. You have the blue Cooler who's getting 50% to a special move gauge of fight as long as he's getting hit by a Saiyan. Yellow Bojack has the mitigation with the bubble shield and stuff like that. And the rest are kind of just filler units that are used there for the Z tier bonus. And now if we go into our team right here, again, I do like starting off in C tier. I think the strongest combination of units in C tier is going to be the red Pan combined with the blue Beast Gohan. Personally, that's just my personal opinion. It's not fact, but it's so strong just because you have so much debuffs with this Pan right here. And not only that, she's also restoring her own health by 2%, inflicting more debuffs right there. And then she's also having so much support for Gohan units, for Gohan or Piccolo units. Right here, 10% damage inflicted by allied character Gohan or Piccolo activates once, 20% to their special move gauge. Charge rate for Gohan or Piccolo activates once. And then she's also buffing HP, right? Max base HP. That's really strong. That's valuable. And then if we look at the Blue Beast Gohan right here, so he's getting the support from Pan ideally, right? At the start of the first turn, if there's a tag powerful opponent, 20% to special move gauge, right? That's already really solid. You're getting the buff from Pan as well. After receiving an attack, you're getting health back by 2%. And then at the start of the first turn, you activate your green card, you get 30% damage inflicted, minus 15 to damage cut, and 50% to special move gauge charge rate. Right, so you're probably going to be super attacking with this guy more often than not, which was why I think this is one of the strongest combinations right here. I mean, you can go with the Red Beast Gohan. I have gone over him before, and I think he just takes a longer time to get going, right? So I feel like he's more better for the late game. Rather with a Blue Beast Gohan, he's better for like just right off rip. And then in B tier, that's where both of the healers that I like to use for sagas from the movies reside in right here, right? Like you have this guy, he's able to heal in 4 different slots. So his own slot right above him and then the diagonals behind him, right? So he's able to go ahead and heal them. That's pretty much his best trait right there. After receiving a hit, he heals his allies by 3%. And then this guy, Gamma 2, acts as a secondary healer. He has there's almost a similar range, right? Just at a different like kind of order right here. But at the third turn, restores health of allies in range by 2%, and he's also farming his special move very quickly, right, with being 50% on that 4th turn. And then A tier, I think the best option here, or one of the strongest options here, is this Red Bojack, who gets a guaranteed super attack on turn 2. Unfortunately, the biggest downside to that is that it cannot cause the enemy to be defeated because it gets upgraded to the purple card, the Awakened Arts card. So that's the only thing that sucks. And then in S tier, we do have the purple Bojack we just talked about. He has a guaranteed super at the start of turn 2. He has a low key restore speed, so it's going to be more towards the end of turn 2. This Bujin, I like him a lot because he stuns at the start of the 2nd turn, a damage mitigation basically. And then this guy, if he gets hit by a Saiyan, you get 50% to your special move gauge. That's pretty solid, right? It's pretty high tier for a character as well of his stature. But there's other good options here in S tier, right? Like the Red Turles you see right here, any of the Hera Clan members, honestly. And then you have the purple Zenkai Turles, the Zenkai Cooler. You even have the Zenkai Yellow Goku, which is also pretty solid. And then in Z tier, it's a little bit more lackluster. I'm going to be real honest with you guys, but you could still find some good pickups here. Like this Thouser combined with Cooler is really good. I think this Yellow Cooler is pretty good too. The metal one, we've used him quite a bit on regeneration. He definitely does need some stars though. Alright, so next thing we're going to be talking about is Saiyans. I feel like this team is so easy to talk about. It's just that there's so many options. It's like there's so many teams you could possibly use. I feel like there's not necessarily a right answer to how to build this team. Right here on the right hand side, you have the rank 155. He is running 5 C tier characters, guys. 5. Ultra Rose, that's a C tier character. Ultra GB, C tier character. Ultra Vegito, C tier. Ultra Vegito, the red one, C tier. And then even the Super Vegito, another C tier. So that's 5 characters right there. The Rose, I think, is the best out of the bunch, just because the Rose has the guaranteed super attack, turn 1, high key resource speed, all that good stuff. This is what I would use if I was running Saiyans. I'm still dipping into C tier for sure, but if I'm picking up a red, rather than low key, this might be controversial, I think better than Vegito Blue would be this Raditz right here. Just because of the fact, like, maybe you don't want to put him just because he's range type. I don't know if you guys are building a strike based team or a range based team, but this guy right here, he has a guaranteed super attack. Just right off rip, he has a buff against the Sun Family or Regeneration, which is a good little mix of teams that you often see right here. I think this is pretty solid all around. And then obviously in both teams, I would include the Zaha, just because this guy's Z tier is going to help out with your points a little bit right there. Plus he's healing indiscriminately, right? So it doesn't matter what tag you belong to. At the end of a turn, as long as you're in his range, you're going to be getting that heal by 1% right there. This Vegeta, I think he's a must. I'm pretty sure this Vegeta is in A tier. He's usually in A tier. This guy, you're basically getting a full board heal, right? You, at the start of the 3rd turn, activate special action. All allies get 3% to their HP back, which is pretty damn solid right here, right? And then in terms for your purples, I would probably pick up this guy, the Goku and Final Form Frieza. They're so easy to use and they're so broken, especially in this game mode, right? They're restoring health, they're doing all this crazy. They have so much within their kit that they have available to them, so they're really, really good. This UI Goku, I think he's pretty good just because of the fact that he has the Zenkai stats, he has the buff against Fusion Warrior, he has And he also has the evade mechanic, so he has damage mitigation right there, right? And then this Vegeta is also really good in terms of tanking. He has so much health too that he restores after receiving an attack. He restores health by 7%. That's a ton, bro. That's so much. So yeah, so if we're looking at C tier pickups, I definitely do think the best units here is probably the Red Raditz, the Ultra Rose. I probably would put him over the GB, honestly. There's obviously other good picks here too, but once again, I just want to reiterate, there's not really a right or wrong answer for how you're going to build your Saiyans team. Alright, so the next slot that we have is dedicated to both Super Warriors and the Saibasquad right here. I'm going to put them both in the same slot just because I feel the same way about both of them. They both have like a very limited selection, but if we talk about Super Warriors first right here, obviously this guy on the left hand side is rank 6, which is pretty good. This is a more seasoned team. Like you have to have a good grasp of the game mode, a good understanding, and you have to have all the stars, all the equipment, all of that good stuff, right? And a dedicated path that you have for each season and stuff like that. But the one thing that I do change about Super Warriors is the green TN. I like this ToP TN more just because he has a guaranteed special move on turn 2 alongside a stun just in case you don't even finish him off, and then maybe even the Yamcha included on there instead of the TN, just because this Yamcha has heals for the squad. I feel like that's very valuable, or maybe even find a way of running them both. Right, I think he does have value there, especially because you guys might have him at a good amount of stars, especially if you guys were chasing him for that lock-in mechanic for PvP, whatever it may be. And then on the Saibasquad, you have the Zaha heals right there. I think that's necessary, the Z tier Zaha heals. And then you also have heals from the yellow Cybermen. This is just how the team works. You want to keep this guy up at all costs, right? Because he's the healer for minions. And then this blue Cyberman is your DPS dealer because this guy gets 30% to a special move gauge every single turn, right? So sometimes you even see this guy super attack 2 times in a single fight, which is pretty huge. But both of these teams are definitely for the more seasoned player. I wouldn't just set out someone on just maybe first or second season of ToP with these teams right here. But I do like the Saibasquad a little bit more just because all of these units right here are free to play right here on the right hand side, right? Alright, so for the final team we are going to be talking about is, of course, the team we will be running for this season is Regeneration. So we're going to start off in C tier because we're going to actually make 2 pickups right here. So I always preach about running 1 or 2 or even 3 C tier units, so I think it's time we follow that advice. We're going to be using Super Baby 2 for our heals for regeneration, and we're going to be using this Cell because I think this Cell is absolutely phenomenal right here. I think he's so damn good, even in first form. The first time we used him, I don't think we even got him to die until like the late second half of the board. So we're going to be using these 2. I hear a lot of you guys saying that this purple Cell is God tier. If I had more stars on him, I probably would be more inclined to use him because our purples are kind of weak right now. This guy, or I don't know if it's this guy you guys were mentioning, but I assume it's this guy just because of the range typing, right? This Piccolo is also pretty good right here. He has good support, but I don't think he's going to be as good as, say, these 2 that we're going to be using right here, right? And then we go into B tier. We have our Boo Tanks. If we really wanted to squeeze in a green, I probably would pick up this Parasite Trunks. I think he's really good. And then in A tier, we have the Yellow Cell. This guy has been doing us so damn good. If you want to use someone better than this Yellow Cell, I definitely recommend going back into B tier and picking up this Zenkai, our Legends Limited Piccolo right here, because this guy has a guaranteed super attack on turn 3. He is so damn good. So good. But back into A tier for our green unit, you have a bunch of options here. I'm going to go with the free-to-play DKP. I like this guy just because he gets 30% to that special gauge on turn 4. Plus, he has his own little heals that he makes out with. And then, if you don't want to use him, you have the option of this first form Cell right here, the green one, or this Zenkai Piccolo, who's always going to be helpful for just the tankiness, right? The tankiness. And then in S tier, we're picking up double purples right here with this Cell. I like him a lot, right? I like the debuffs a lot. This guy, I'm kind of I mean, he's alright. He's an S tier unit. He's going to give us some points right here. If you want to replace this guy, definitely be my guest. He does have damage mitigation though, which is pretty solid. And then we're also going to be picking up another Zenkai unit right here because why not? I never see this guy in S tier. I've never used him in ToP, and I think this is the perfect time to show him off in ToP. Of course, if you want to replace him with this guy, I think that would be even better. right here, especially if you have the stars on this guy. As soon as I get stars on this guy, he's friendship ranked 10 already. We're going to be trying him out. And then in Z tier, you do have decent options here. Like this guy's all right. He has the solar flare. This guy's all right. He has board wide debuffs. And then this guy's pretty good, but he's just so inaccessible to a lot of you guys that we've kind of refrained from using him a little bit. But yeah, if you guys need any replacements for this squad, let me know. Alright, so that's going to go ahead and wrap up the video for today. There's no new unit segment because we haven't gotten any new units so far since anniversary is just right around the corner. I believe it's on this Friday. So we'll have to go ahead and dive into the new units then. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns of ToP, let me know in the comment section down below. And do not worry, I am in the middle of cooking up some brand new guide video. That's going to be a general guide video on how the game mode works. It's going to be geared more towards beginners because I know this is more of like a rotating seasonal kind of thing where things will slightly change here and there. But I'm going to make a guide video that's going to be just for the overall view of ToP, especially for someone new just barely coming into it. So thank you guys for watching, thank you guys for supporting, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later!